Blessed Insurance, Geico is mine. Savings on it for 15 minutes of your time. That's what. It's a good song. All right, let's see. Do you know what the Dunning-Kruger effect is? The Dunning-Kruger effect? Let me draw it for you. It's interesting. So the Dunning-Kruger effect is something that every one of us has experienced, and it's something that we see in the news a lot. It's something that we experience with our friends and our coworkers. We see it a lot whenever people start studying the Bible for the first time. You see it a lot on conspiracy videos and, conspiracy theories and things like that. There's a lot of multi-level marketing, pyramid schemes that are based around the Dunning-Kruger effect, because they take a little information, blow it out of proportion, and coax you into buying all these whatevers that it's going to cure all your sicknesses, and it smells good at the same time. But anyways, here's what the Dunning-Kruger effect looks like. So we have confidence on this side of the graph, and then we have experience on this side. Now, you know this. As soon as someone learns about a subject, boy, their confidence goes through the roof really quick. And then they learn more about it, and it kind of dips off a little bit. And then after a while, it starts going back up again when they move from, this would be novice, and so this would be expert. Now, what happens is somebody learns something, maybe a Bible passage, maybe they learn about, they learn about a particular subject, maybe baptism, and they're really excited about the subject of baptism. And so they start to teach that when they're still a novice with full confidence. But then they learn something else about it, and they see another element to it. And they say, wait a minute, there's a lot that I don't know about this subject. And then over time, their confidence in the subject may go down a little bit, but then eventually they learn enough so that they get more and more confident in it as they continue to add to their knowledge. This side of it here is called imposter syndrome. Even though you have more experience than this person over here, you may not feel as confident in what you believe. We've often said like this, that we know what we know, and we know that there's things that we don't know, but what we're really afraid of is the things that we don't know what we don't know, right? The things that we haven't even figured out that we don't know yet. And that's called the Dunning-Kruger effect. When you see people arguing on Facebook, for example, that's where they're at, right? Now, the reason why I bring this up, is I want to ask you the question, who are you? Who are you? And that's not a question that anybody can answer for you. You have to answer that question yourself. Some people are chameleons. You might know someone like that. They can talk to anybody about anything at any time with a fairly reasonable, ability to hang in there with them. They can talk about anything from weed eating to rocket science, And as long as they have somewhat of a grasp on the conversation, they can generally hang in there with them. So you know somebody like that, and that might be you. And that's not a bad thing. All of us, in a sense, are chameleons from time to time. All of us have a set of unspoken rules that with every single person that we come into contact with. You have your best friend who you will say things to that you won't say to, maybe an acquaintance at a job or your neighbor. You have a list of things that are acceptable to talk about with this friend that may not be acceptable to talk about with the other. For example, when you get to religious things, there might be some religious topics that you're willing to talk about with one individual, but another individual you say, no, either if I tell them that, they're going to get all spun up and they're going to talk for hours, or I'm going to tell them that and they're going to get offended. And so you have sort of a list of rules maybe with each person. So all of us to an extent have a chameleon behavior. You have your work persona and your home persona and your church persona, you might know what I'm talking about. And this isn't necessarily a bad thing. That's what is called adaptability. Every single living organism has that with it. I mean, even your pets have that. Your pet might be the most wildest thing running around the house like crazy, but if a stranger comes over, they're hiding under the bed. Why is that? Because we change slightly, not the core personality, but we change slightly depending on who we're with. Now, a lot of times, like what you see in the Dunning-Kruger effect here, we get to the point in our life of this imposter syndrome. Sometimes that'll set in. For example, whenever you're studying the Bible, for instance, and you really get into the subject, first off, you might be thinking, wow, I can answer probably any Bible question anybody asks. I'm really good at this. And then you get on into it and you think, whoa, am I even qualified to be talking about the Bible at all? Have you ever had that happen to you in your field? Maybe something that you're good at. You get to the point where you're thinking, is this even what I'm supposed to do? I know Laura as a teacher. She graduates college, and she wouldn't tell you this, but I'm going to tell you. She had the highest scores on her teacher exams out of anybody in her class. She beat them all, even in the next semester too. And yet, there's days when I talk to Laura and she says, can I even be a teacher? Am I even, able to do this? And then, she gets compliments from from people at work, and that boosts her confidence again. But we all go through that imposter syndrome and those things. But there's sometimes in our life when we have an identity crisis where we think,